Hello class, this is Dr. Forbes, and I would like to give you a video how to use the Dallas College Library databases. The first thing that you do is log into our homepage, dallascollege.edu, and then go to Student Resources. Once you're at Student Resources, go down to Academic Support, and then from Academic Support you go to Library. Now there's lots of things on the library homepage. One of the things I want to point out is that you can chat with a librarian, or you can email a librarian if you get stuck and you can't find research sources for your essay. The chat feature is where you're chatting with a librarian in real time, and that's very helpful if you get stuck and you're not entirely sure where to go to find a research source or to find a specific source in a specific database. So I wanted to let you know about those two features. The other thing is there's library services here. You can click on that. You can see all the services that the library offers. Of course, you can visit a library at any of our Dallas College campuses. Here is the information for the Northlake College Library. Here is their telephone number for their reference desk. They are in Building L. And the whole building itself really is the library and the Learning Commons. And then here's their physical address if you need it. So let's scroll back up to Research Tools. Right here is where we're going to be spending the majority of our time. What I want you to do is go into the Dallas College Databases. Now, a database is very different from just a general internet search. A database is a collection of materials that are purchased by colleges and universities for their students to use for research purposes. The databases are not open to the public. You must be a member of the college or the university to use the databases. And as a student of Dallas College, you are eligible to use the databases for free as part of your tuition and fees that you have paid as an enrolled student. So basically, if you're looking for something, research purposes, I always suggest that you go to the Dallas College databases and you start searching from there. Most databases are peer-reviewed, so that means that the people who have read these articles have agreed that the articles are valid and they are correct. So you don't have to do a lot of fact-finding when you use a database. Now, as you notice, we're here on the database page, and this popped up for the reference librarians. So you can chat now if you want to, or if you want to chat later, you can always say no thanks. And then the little chat feature always stays up right here on every page. It's up here at the top right-hand corner. Let's go to Academic Search Complete first. Academic Search Complete is a good general database, so that you don't have to really think about too much about specific terms and topics and subject language when you're using a general database. If you are using the databases on campus, then you don't have to log in. If you are using the databases from your home or from another source that's not associated with the campus, then you will have to log in. So since I'm at my home and I'm doing this for you, I'm going to log in with my credentials. Your credentials are the same login as you use for eConnect. All right, so we're looking here at the Academic Search Complete database. And right here we have search, and it says enter any words to find books, journals, and more. But before I enter a word, I want to go down here and talk about all of these things on the search options. When you're looking at search options, you definitely want to have references available, and I'm going to show you the benefit of that. You must have research sources that are no older than 5 years back. So let's start with January, and this is 2023, so I'm looking at 2018. So I'm going to put 2018 there. I'm going to end with January of 2023. So that gives me a 5-year block to search for the references that I want. I'm going to leave all of these checked. I'm going to say all publications, but I want peer-reviewed publications. You don't have to check anything else here. Everything else is the way it should be. So make those 2 changes. And then let's talk about cultural oppression. So once I start typing, if you notice, it's going to give me a lot of different choices, options, if you will. But oppression is not one. Now I have oppression. So I have cultural oppression disguised as religious obligation, or cultural oppression and human trafficking. I just want general cultural oppression. So I'm going to search. And when I search, it comes up with this many search results. So I don't really want to look through 3,689 search results. So maybe what I want to do is go up here and I want to put my term in quotation marks. So that means it's only going to look for sources in which that term appears together. So let's search again. Now I have a little bit better option. I have 34 research sources, so I can probably look through those. So let me kind of scroll down. And see if I can find one that Look, this one sounds a little bit interesting. It is an academic journal. The subjects are woman dehumanization, black women, Euros, and intersectionality. So I'm going to click on that. We'll just pretend that this is the absolute perfect research source. So remember, I wanted full text, so I chose full text. So I have it in HTML or I have it in PDF. It has 79 cited references, and I'm going to show you the importance of that. When you find a source that you think is going to be valuable to you, the first thing I suggest is to read the abstract. The abstract should give you a little bit of information about the article itself without you having to read the entire article. So make sure that the abstract is something that when you read it, it's going to benefit your research purposes for your essay. Now, if you notice, when I clicked on the abstract, I have listen, dictionary, and translate. So in our databases, we have purchased some of these add-on tools for students, and one of them is that it is read to you. So that's valuable if you're doing something else like cooking dinner or maybe cleaning your room. You can listen to it being read to you. If you're not a native English speaker, this will help with your language skills as well, and it will read it to you. Now, another thing that we've done is we've added these tools as well. So when you're looking at your database and you're looking at your research source, we're going to pretend that this is the perfect source for us. This is exactly what we were looking for. So my advice to every single student is, when you find a source that you think might be important to you, then you better mark that source and save it somehow, or otherwise you may not be able to find it when you go back and look for it again. You can save this to a Google Drive. If you use Google Drive, then you can definitely save it to Google Drive. If you're using the Microsoft Office suite, you can use OneDrive. You can add it to a folder, but that folder is within the database itself. So you would have to log back into the database in order to get to this. You can print things out if you want to print them out. I don't need them printed out, but if that's to your benefit, then by all means you can print these out. You can email to yourself, and that's what I always do. So I'm going to click on email, and this will say the email is from support@ebsco.com. You would put your email address right here, and then send in plain text format. You can do that if you want to. I just like the way it comes when it's in its full format. You can also get the HTML full text version or the PDF version, and then all you do is hit send. And then when you go back to your email, you'll have a link to this particular article. And that'll be helpful in trying to get your material when you're ready to write your essay and use it in your essay. You can also save it. Now this saves it to the database. So you again would have to log into the database in order to be able to retrieve that. You can cite it as well. So when you click on cite, it comes up and it gives you a list of different citation options. Our citation is MLA 9th edition. So what you would do is you would simply copy this. So highlight it. You're going to hit Control C as in cat. Then you would go to your Microsoft Word document. Let me open that up. And then when you get there, you hit Control V as in Victor. Now, if you notice, it is not in the format that it needs to be in. All it is double spaced. So you highlight that. You go up here to paragraph, this little guy right here. You don't do anything with any options here except special and choose hanging, and then hit OK. Now it's formatted correctly. In MLA, the citation goes, the first line goes to the left margin, and any other lines are indented 5 spaces, which is called a hanging indent. So I'm going to move that out of the way. The other thing, here's listen if you want. Here's listen. You can translate it into other languages. You can create notes on the page itself. So if you want to create a note somewhere, you can add a new note. And it opens up a text box, and you can add a note here. And then you can save the note. So here are your notes. You must sign in order to see your notes, but this would be a good way for you to make notes as you're reading your article. Right? So Here's the HTML full text. I'm going to open that one. You can again listen to it if you want to. Here's the table of contents. So I'm just going to scroll down real quick. Here are the references. And the reason that the references are important to you is because you may want to use one of these reference sources that this person has used for this article. And you don't have to go look it up. You would just click on the footnote. And it's trying to bring it up for me. Well, it's not wanting to bring it up. My computer is not wanting to bring it up. So I'm going to highlight it. And I'm going to scroll all the way back up to the top. I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to search. And it was called Visible Identities, Race, Gender. So let's see if it has it. And I'm going to take that off of there, and I'm going to put it in my quotation marks. And I'm going to hit search again. Let's see if I can find this source. Apparently we don't have this particular source. That was listed in the previous source that we were looking at. So now what I want to do is I'm going to choose a different database. So I'm going to uncheck Academic Search Complete, and I'm going to go to I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to go back to the library itself. I'm going to start back over because I want to show you, if you're not sure where to start, all of these are really good. The one I like is Opposing Viewpoints. Whether I'm writing a cause and effect paper or I'm writing my descriptive paper, Opposing Viewpoints doesn't give you any specific decision on a topic, but it does show you both sides of the topic. So it's really good research source if you don't know much about the other side of a topic. Let's say you only know one side of a topic. So Opposing Viewpoints is a good place for you to find material on both sides of a topic. When you look up here, these are issues of interest that have been in the news lately. This is deepfake video material. This is social media, food waste. So you're going to have a few up here if you want to explore those topics. But most of the topics are down here. There are 472 issues or topics. So you see them all in alphabetical order. If there's something new here, it'll be updated. So we're looking for cultural oppression. So let's see what that might have in culture. Here's cancel culture. Cultural appropriation. Let's see what that one is, just out of curiosity. Cultural appropriation occurs when someone borrows an element from another culture and uses it for their own purposes. The term is generally used to describe cultural misappropriation. Okay, well, that's really not what we're looking for. So let's put cultural oppression. I am not getting oppression. Let's see, cultural expression, racial oppression, cultural. I could use maybe racial oppression. That might be something that would give me information. Let's see, it's telling me I have 22 journal articles, so I want to see the journal articles. Here we go. Here's 22 articles. I can sort them. Let's see what's the newest. Okay. Let's say that this one right here is perfect for what I want. If you notice, it is peer-reviewed. The date is fall of 2013. Remember, we couldn't actually choose much of the dates or anything for this like we could the other one. We couldn't really narrow and specify our search, but we're going to have to look at it a little better. But it does give us a lot of information right here. So I'm going to click on that one. Here's my abstract again. So I could have it read to me if I want to have it read to me. I can save it to my Google Drive or my OneDrive. I can have it emailed to me. I can download it or I can print it. So some of the tools are a little bit different, but we still have a good set of tools. So let's say that I just really like this article and I want to make sure that I have this article. So I email it to myself. The other thing about this article is as I skim it, I want to make sure that I know how to cite it. So if you look up here, we have those same tools up here as well. So here's my citation. I click on this one. I'm going to click on MLA 9th edition. And then I highlight it. It says select it. Then I can go back to my Word document. And I can choose to paste it there. Oops. That did not paste what I wanted. Okay, so that's select button is not what I want. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to hit Control-C again. Go over to my Word document. And I'm going to hit Control-V. And see, since I have already formatted the first one, the first entry, then it keeps my formatting. So I'm going to go down here to my paste options and I'm going to say merge the formatting. Now in your MLA Works Cited page, it's going to be alphabetical. So Brown is going to come before Fraser. So I'm just going to highlight it and I'm going to move it. So now my entries are in alphabetical order. So I'm going to put that back to the side and I'm going to close that. So now I want to go to the very end of my article. Oh, here it is at the end too. And I'm going to look to see, does it have any references? It's got a lot of data down here, but I don't see actual references like in that other page. But it does have more like this. So I could definitely be looking at material that's like this. Maybe this is something that would be along the lines that it would be a research source I would like to use as well. So maybe I could do this one or maybe this one, or I could view all related articles. Here I can send it to myself. That's your email. I can get the link. I can also, in this particular database, I can highlight, oh, there are references. Oops, sorry. Here's our references. So they're just not laid out as the other article was. But if I want to highlight something, because I'm going to use this later on, then I can highlight it and I can say use as direct quote. Okay, so there's my note. Okay, so I have my notes up here. So see, it's telling me the notes, and here's what I wrote on it. Use as direct quote. So this is handy for me as well. So this is opposing viewpoints. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the menu, go back to the library website. So I have some ways to go back to the library, going back to the Dallas College databases. And I'm going to show you one more database that I think is really very valuable. I showed you the Academic Search Complete. That was opposing viewpoints. The next one is CQ Researcher. This is current and controversial topics. And this one is really interesting in the fact that you might get several different viewpoints on the same topic. So you have discussion questions, chronology, pro-con. You can read the full report of things that come up, featured reports, recent reports, those kind of things. But you can also search for what you want up here too. So I've typed in cultural oppression, and just to save myself time, I'm going to put it in quotation marks because I want to make sure that it looks for both of those words together. Oops, it says there are no documents. So maybe I could do oppression of a culture. So this might be where I would need to talk to a librarian to see if, maybe I could find, something on cultural oppression. Let me see if I can just find something on oppression. Okay, it gave me about the same stuff. Here's cultural appropriation again, and it's got the word oppression in it. And the date is 2, so it falls within my time frame. So I'm going to just choose that one for the sake of looking at material. This one doesn't have an abstract, so I'm going to have to start with reading the introduction to see if it matches what I want. This one doesn't read to me, so I don't have any way for it to read to me. I'm going to have to do that myself. It does have an overview. Okay. Appropriation, it does have headers. These footnotes right here, they are live, and when you click on them, it'll tell you which source it came from. And then you can always click on this tiny URL and go to that particular source. So that's handy for this particular database. Young adults are more likely to say wearing costumes of other cultures is offensive. So this might fit, it might work within my topic for cultural oppression. I can email it again, I can print it. Here's my citation. Okay, so I have to go up and look for what kind of citation I want. I want MLA. And then it says I can export it to a word processor. Okay, so, or I can just simply copy it and paste it like I've done the others. Okay, so there's Cite Now. I can view this in PDF if I want to. And I can email the link to myself so that I don't lose what I have. This also has related information you may or may not find helpful when you're looking at your topic. So this might be helpful on your topic. These are related reports or related articles. Okay, so this is a CQ Researcher. So I'm going to go back to my databases, and I want you to know that Academic Search Complete is a good one to use, Opposing Viewpoints, and CQ Researcher. So those 3 databases will give you just about anything that you want for your research purposes for our class. This will be for your essays that you'll be writing for our composition courses. All right, that's all I have to cover on the library databases. That's all that I wanted you to know for this particular task that you have for your essays. Remember, you need to have at least 2 research sources for your essays, 2 different research sources. If you have any questions, just let me know. I am very happy to help. Thanks for watching.